Your car throws a P0430 code and most mechanics jump straight to bad catalytic converter. That repair can run well over $1,000. Here's the kicker. The converter often isn't the real problem. Exhaust leaks, lazy O, two sensors, and even damaged wiring can all trigger the same code. Stick with me, I'll give you a simple garage checklist you can run in under an hour. Do the work on level ground with the car safely supported by jack stands or ramps before you crawl under. By the end, you'll know how to track down bank 2, run the right tests, and tell if your converter is truly bad or just taking the blame. And the first step is knowing exactly where that bank 2 sits. Finding bank 2 and what the code really means. Most drivers never stop to figure out which bank their code is pointing at. That's a problem, because chasing the wrong side means wasted hours, the wrong parts, and a bill that solves nothing. Here's the rule. On any V6 or V8, the engine is split into 2 banks. Bank 1 is always the side with cylinder number 1, bank 2 is the opposite side. Simple enough, but the catch is cylinder 1 doesn't sit in the same spot on every make. On some, it's passenger side. On others, it's driver side. The only way to know on your car is to check the service manual or a reliable VIN-specific diagram. Don't guess, confirm it before you buy anything. Locking down the bank is step 1. Step 2 is verifying which sensor plugs and which converter belong to bank 2. Many cars use mirrored parts. Click the wrong one and you'll end up with a converter or sensor that won't even bolt up. Always confirm with your VIN and a trusted parts diagram so you're chasing the right side from the start. Plenty of DIY mechanics get caught here. I've seen guys spend a whole weekend swapping bank 1 parts when the code was clearly for bank 2. That's like fixing the left brake when the right one's sticking. You spend the money, burn the time, and still have the same squeal at the end. Now, why does bank 2 matter so much with P0430? The PCM doesn't look inside the cat. It watches the O2 sensors before and after it. The upstream sensor sits ahead of the converter and should swing up and down quickly. That's normal, because your engine is constantly adjusting fuel and air. The downstream one lives right after the converter and should read slow and steady if the cat is working. If the downstream trace starts copying the upstream trace, the computer decides efficiency has dropped. 2 matching heartbeats on the graph means exhaust gases are passing through untouched. That's how the PCM knows bank 2's converter isn't pulling its weight. But again, you need to know which bank you're dealing with, because the code is only calling out one side. Here's where a scan tool earns its keep. If you've got a pro scanner, pull up the live O2 graphs and watch them in real time. Upstream should flick fast, downstream should creep slow. No pro scanner? Grab a Bluetooth OBD2 adapter and a decent phone app. Seeing the graphs with your own eyes is the difference between guessing and diagnosing. Remember, each bank has its own exhaust path and its own cat, which means each part number is unique to that side. Order the wrong one, and you'll be stuck with a mirror image converter that doesn't line up with your flanges. More money wasted, and that check engine light still staring at you. So here's the bottom line. P0430 doesn't prove your converter is fried. It only says bank 2 isn't cleaning the exhaust the way it should. That could be a failing converter, but it could also be a bad sensor, burnt wiring, or a pinhole leak upstream. Sorting that out is the next move before you swap anything. Next up, the quick driveway tests that tell you if it's the exhaust, the sensor, or something else giving your ECM false alarms. The DIY checklist. Exhaust, sensors, and real fixes. This is where the checklist comes in. The same step order I'd follow in the shop to split the quick fixes from the expensive one. Start with the exhaust system. No fancy gear needed here. Let the engine idle and listen around the manifolds, flanges, and pipe joints for a faint hiss. A leak can be that subtle. Next, spray soapy water on the flanges and bolt-up spots. If you see bubbles, you've found a leak. Also, give a close look at gasket areas and where heat shields touch the pipes. Any spot that can pull in fresh air will throw the sensors off. A leak before the cat lets oxygen sneak into the exhaust stream, that extra oxygen makes the downstream sensor think the converter isn't doing its job, even if it's fine. Simple leak, misleading code, fix the leak first, and you might clear the light without touching the cat. Once you've ruled out leaks, move to wiring. O2 sensors sit in hot, vibrating spots, so their wires often take a beating. Start with the connectors. Check for melted insulation, loose pins, or spots where the loom rubs against sharp metal. With the scanner hooked up, wiggle the harness. If the graph suddenly jumps or drops, that's a wiring fault, not a bad cat. Don't forget the heater side of the circuit. Many O2 sensors need a working heater fuse to warm up. A dead heater will keep the sensor cold and send garbage data to the ECM. With wiring cleared, it's time to test the sensors themselves. Hook up a scan tool that shows live O2 voltage. The upstream sensor should swing quickly between rich and lean. That's normal fuel control. The downstream sensor should be steadier and slower. If the downstream trace copies the upstream one, the converter isn't storing oxygen. If the downstream flatlines and never moves, that sensor is dead. If the trace glitches when you wiggle the harness, fix the wiring before buying parts. Think of it like two heart monitors. The front one should race, the rear one should stay steady. If they both race, blame the cat. If one goes silent, blame the sensor. Now for the converter itself. Grab an infrared temp gun and check heat before and after the converter. A healthy cat is hotter on the outlet side because it's burning off gases. If the inlet is hotter than the outlet, the core may be clogged. Another shop trick is a back pressure test. Slightly loosen a flange ahead of the converter to give gases a small escape. If power suddenly returns, back pressure from a clogged cat is the issue. Do this only for diagnosis, with the car safely supported, protective gear on, and never as a long-term setup. If tests point to a weak cat, you still have a couple of low-cost tries before a full replacement. Fuel additives or cat cleaners can sometimes clear light carbon deposits, but they won't fix a melted honeycomb. Pulling the cat and flushing it can help if it's only lightly fouled, but it's not guaranteed. The reality, if the core is broken or melted, replacement is the only true fix. Here's the right order to follow. Scan for other codes like misfires or fuel trim problems, check for leaks, inspect wiring and heater circuits, confirm O2 patterns, temp test the cat, and only then consider replacement. Skip a step and you risk throwing money at the wrong part. And remember, if your engine runs rich, misfires, or burns oil, a new cat won't last. Fix the engine issue first or you'll be back at square one. Do the checklist in this order and you'll know if the fix is 20 bucks in wiring, 100 bucks in a sensor, or the big dollar converter itself. And when you see that P0430 light come on, understand it's pointing you toward a system problem, not handing you a bill. P0430 isn't a death sentence for your wallet, it's a clue. Treat it like one. Diagnose, don't guess. Check for exhaust leaks, wiring damage, or weak. Oh, two sensors first. Only move on to replacing the cat if live data and temperature checks prove it's failing. After any repair, clear the code with a scanner and drive until the OBD monitor's complete. That's how you confirm the fix and avoid chasing the same ghost twice. Subscribe for practical how-tos and tool-first tutorials you can use this weekend. And remember, always work on level ground with the car securely supported.